Today is June 29th, 2025, and this is a weekly update on the ongoing war between Israel and the Hamas terror organization in the Gaza Strip, as well as other enemies on other fronts around the Middle East. Shalom, my friends. This is Akiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Just a week ago today, the ceasefire between Israel and Iran came into place, ending the 12-day war between the two countries. Israelis on the ground are still feeling the transition period from such a high level of intensity during those 12 days when schools were closed, most businesses were closed, people were barely leaving their homes and often running into bomb shelters multiple times a day. And while life has returned back to normal with schools reopening and businesses coming back, it still has taken some time for Israelis to transition back, even though it was only 12 days. Again, such a high intensity war was so often Israelis all over the country, millions at a time, having to run into bomb shelters. It's not an easy thing to transition back. Israelis are doing it, but even a week later, you can still feel the ripple effects of the war and the damage from the war on the Israeli home front, despite the fact that Israel delivered a significant blow to Iran, both militarily and in terms of their nuclear program. There was obviously damage and destruction on the ground here in Israel. One of probably the most intense sites that was hit by a missile was in Rehovot, just south of Tel Aviv, in Israel, a place called the Weizmann Institute, which is a major center of science and research in Israel, and an entire building got destroyed where very, very important studies and research was being done, including research on cancer. And the scientists working there say that the destruction of that building has set back their research many, many years. And unfortunately, God forbid, can cause people who are sick with certain illnesses, their lives, as they were developing certain remedies and solutions to various illnesses. So we see that this war against Israel and Iran did not only cause loss of life in the here and now, with about 28, 29 Israelis being killed during those 12 days, it also, unfortunately, as hard as it is to say, will most likely cause death in the future as well, because of this center of research and medicine and science being destroyed during that war. The fight in Gaza continues, and the IDF chief of staff has announced that they're very close to reaching their goals of this latest phase of the war, which is 75% control over Gaza. The IDF soldiers are courageously continuing to fight even after over 20 months of war, which is very exhausting and very intense on them. And for the reservist soldiers who are coming in and out of fighting, very intense on their families, their lives, their children, their jobs, their communities. And yet they still continue to show up because they know that this is what is necessary for a peaceful and secure future for the Jewish people in Israel. Over Shabbat, a missile was fired at Israel, not by Iran, obviously, but by the Houthis in Yemen. It was shot down, caused no damage, no danger to Israel or Israelis, but it did show the Houthis' desire to keep their side of the fight going, even as Iran and Israel ended their fight. Of course, Israel is keeping an eye on that to see if there's any further development with that. And if they continue to shoot rockets, Israel will continue their military campaign in Yemen, as it has a couple times already, destroying key places like ports and airports, destroying very, very crucial infrastructure for the Houthi terrorist regime. In other news on the Syrian front, there is talk of the Abraham Accords extending to include Syria. Just to remind you, the Abraham Accords was something that came into place under President Trump's first term, which was a historical agreement between Israel and Arab nations around the Middle East, bringing peace and recognition between these nations in a place that just simply never existed. And the thought of this extending to Syria is another level of this historical achievement. It's too early to tell if this will actually happen, but there is talk on the table of it happening. Israel and Syria have never known a moment even of peace, even though they have not directly fought in war against each other since 1973 in the Yom Kippur War. They have been at a state of war ever since, and Syria has funded terrorism against Israel, like with Hezbollah in southern Lebanon for many, many years. We know that there's been a regime change in Syria. People are still worried about the leadership in Syria, if they will be peaceful or not. But the talk that the Abraham Accords might extend to Syria, which would obviously bring them major investment from America and most likely other countries as well. So that would be good for them. Still, peace with Syria would be very real peace, let's be honest. Real, long lasting, everlasting peace with Syria would be a game changer for Israel. And that would bring the number of Arab countries on the borders with Israel that Israel would have peace with to three. And we know that Israel made peace with Egypt in the late 1970s and with Jordan in 1994. Israel really hasn't been in a state of war with Lebanon. Technically, yes, just for the lack of peace, but really Israel has been fighting terrorist organizations in Lebanon over the past many decades, obviously most recently, and even currently still, Hezbollah. So that is a scan of the news over the past few days here in Israel, our war update for the week. We continue to thank you for your prayers and your support, your thoughts for Israel and its soldiers on the front line, praying for the release of the hostages to come home soon. Many people say that the defeat, Israel's defeat of Iran in this 12-day war will only help Israel in any possible future hostage deal. And everyone's still praying for complete victory in Gaza, including the release of the hostages. May we see that very, very soon. All the best, my friends, and be well.